media personality and journalist Kuli Robets, who passed on Wednesday, is being remembered for several things. In fact, in particular, people are remembering an interview that she had with popular podcaster MacG, when she said that she wanted to be remembered for encouraging black people to take care of each other. She also supported people living with albinism as well as those within the LGBTI plus community. Joining us now to look back at Kuli Robets' activism and many other things is Refilwe Modiselle, who's joining us via our video link. Refilwe herself, of course, an actress and model. And it's great to have you on the program, Refilwe, albeit under these really difficult circumstances. Also difficult because it's hard to actually speak about Kuli in past tense, especially when you consider just how much life she had in her.
You know what, I think, I don't know, maybe a person has been trying to really play this in their head to really understand and say, is this real? Because I've known Kuli ever since I was 19 years old. She was literally one of those people where I was out and about and she just approached me and said, do you know how gorgeous and beautiful you are? And that's where we sparked our relationship.
Yeah.
She's you know, one thing for sure, Kuli lit up a room. I know that she rubbed people up the wrong way, but one thing for sure is that she was one person who loved so deeply. I appreciated the fact that she was very straightforward. A lot of people didn't like that, but I mean, that was just Kuli, and very misunderstood, but more than anything, she was a loving person, extremely loving, with a lot of truth to her. And I'm forever grateful for the role that she had in my life in terms of just loving me for who I am and consistently pushing. I remember when my short film had come out and she was like, baby, I want to do a piece for a British website in the UK so that we can promote this, because I knew her passion for albinism. But more than anything, we had like a strange mother and daughter relationship. But she was love and light, and I think the hard part is her, you know, knowing that she's now with Bob Mabena, two people I was really close to. So it's painful.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. You really do get the sense that some of the greats of our times are no longer with us in the ways that we'd want them to be, for lack of a better term. You know, I am too still making sense of what's taken place in the past week or so. But you've mentioned the fact that, you know, her frankness rubbed some people up the wrong way. But I think a lot of other people will actually argue that her frankness is actually what resonated with them, because dare I say,
there's a method to. There was a method to her madness, but you know how society can be very judgmental if you're very vocal about a lot of things, and it really did make her. So there was always like a borderline thing where some people really didn't dislike the fact that she was straightforward, and some people absolutely loved her. But the one thing I think I always resonate with is that she was unapologetic. Kuli lit up a room unapologetically, so in her own little way, you know. And I think when you're closer, you really, really had to understand this and just love this about her. So it's a tough one. And the children, to Bella and Luan, to Shubi, to Thomas, this is a tough one, you know. It's a blow, a massive one.
Yeah. Of course, I wish we had spent a whole lot more time while she was alive speaking about the activism that she did. A lot of people, sadly, only knowing that she's battled for people living with albinism after her passing. So let's pay tribute to that. I mean, from your own experience, how much did Kuli give of herself to people who are living with albinism?
Kuli, if you notice, she had then changed her headline on Twitter to say, stop killing people with albinism, which is a bold statement. A lot of the time we don't have, I'll say inverted commas, people in the norm who support people with albinism. But she was very unapologetic in her stance for it with the pictures that she posted. And every time I saw her as well, there were moments where she'd say, babe, you know, we need to do projects together. Unfortunately, we never actively did something full on. But the one thing remained is that Kuli was supportive in everything that I did. She would say to me, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of the person that you are. And it just shows she always talked about it to say, I really don't understand why, people with albinism are looked down upon. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's crazy. And we know how Kuli used to talk.
Yeah.
So it was just like this. What matters is your love for me and the fact that you are very supportive of this and you're very vocal about it. So Kuli didn't flinch from being supportive. She didn't flinch in her being so vocal towards fighting for people with albinism, to say let's also just respect each other as Black people. These people are a part of who we are. Like, the people with albinism are a part of who we are, just as people generally. Let's respect each other as well as Black people. So, yeah.
Yeah. The question, of course,
That's
becomes
hard,
really difficult, even now, as I mentioned before. The question now becomes how we continue that legacy. I'm sure you might have seen the clip as well, making the rounds on social media, Kuli speaking to MacG. When MacG asked about how she'd like to be remembered, her response was, I actually don't mind not being remembered, and I'm paraphrasing, but I just want you guys to take care of each other.
Yes.
Says so much about the magnanimity of this individual.
Yes. Kuli honestly took care of the people that she loved. She knows the kind of hate that she also received from people, but honestly, she took care of her own. And I think also that this speaks of, she believed in humanity in such a big way. It's just the way she articulated might not necessarily have been in the convention where everybody is expected to express themselves. But she's right when she says, take care of each other. It spoke about her heart. Kuli had a big heart, a massive heart.
Sure. And it's difficult to actually have that come across in an industry like the one she worked in. I mean, here was an individual who, on the one hand, was very frank, who spoke her mind, no matter how
but she was
it would
a loner
land.
as well. She was a loner.
Yeah. She was able to speak her mind on the one hand, but she was also able to be vulnerable, which is something else that I think is lacking in some corners of the entertainment industry. I mean, your reflections on that, about the lessons we could take from an individual who was able to encapsulate these almost diametrically opposed realities.
I think the one lesson that I had taken just, in her being a part of my life was just be unapologetic with who you are. Sometimes people like to paint facades, and there's nothing wrong with being authentically self and being able to give of yourself. The only sad part is that the industry can be very, very filthy, very dirty, very unfeeling. And I think if we had a sense of being a lot more human towards each other, it would count a lot. Being a lot more empathetic towards each other, it would count a lot. Giving each other the necessary respect would really count a lot. And I think that's what she leaves behind. It's humanity, just having a sense of love and respect amongst each other.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Absolutely. Refilwe, I know it's a tough time for you as well, so thank you so much for taking a moment to speak to us, to share your reflections on this individual who, without a doubt, has touched so many lives.